Hi folks, Paul Boland here, and welcome to the first of what will be a series of developer vlogs for my new upcoming game, Home Sweet Home. So, let's begin. In 1995, Sierra Entertainment released a new game on the PC called Phantasmagoria. I was a PC gamer at that point. I think I had a 486 computer. And I remember when I saw the trailer for Phantasmagoria, which was on the cover disc of a magazine, and it was like, wow, look at this. This looks great. I really did like the look of it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get that. So I got Phantasmagoria for Christmas. And I played it. And to this day, 25 years later, that game has stuck with me. That game is still installed on my computer because I found Phantasmagoria to be a truly unique interactive horror movie. And I totally and utterly loved it. I know it didn't do too well with the PC media. I do recall seeing a review of it in one PC magazine and they scored it 12%. I didn't think that was right. I didn't think it was that bad. It certainly wasn't perfect, but my God, it was and still is an astounding game to play. And if you haven't played it, folks, it's on Steam. It's well worth picking it up. It is a unique game. There's nothing like it. There is Phantasmagoria 2, and I enjoyed that too. I also have that still installed on my computer. But Phantasmagoria 1, that was different. That was a unique interactive horror story. And I think it's one of the best PC games ever made. When I played Phantasmagoria back in 1995, I played it straight through, all 7 discs that it shipped on. And then I played it straight through again, without touching another game. I played it straight through again. And after I finished the second playthrough of it, I then wrote a letter to Sierra Entertainment. And I basically sang the praise of this game. I told them I totally loved it. And I couldn't wait for a part 2 to come along. That game had such an impact on me. It defined in me what playing a part in a horror movie was like. And I loved it for that. Of course, the years went on. Interactive movies were never a big success for PC gamers. And that franchise fell to the sideline. And then 3D graphics cards came along with games that utilized it. And of course, we got 3D horror games. And we've had some great 3D horror games over the years. The Resident Evil franchise is one, very good. Realms of the Haunting, that's another game on Steam. It does utilize movie footage, but it is a 3D horror game, and another one I would highly recommend. The one problem I have with a lot of horror games that pit you up against the unknown, the supernatural, is usually the players running around with a gun. You know? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I very much enjoyed many of the franchises I've mentioned. Resident Evil, Realms of the Haunting, and a whole bunch more. I've happily grabbed a gun and ran around, shot zombies and ghosts and ghouls and so on and so forth. But Phantasmagoria never got eclipsed by these games. For one simple reason. I grew up when the PC was in its infancy. My first computer was a 286. And I grew up with that. I went through the timeline and development of the PC into a home entertainment system, into a gaming system. And what I noticed was, particularly when Doom and Wolfenstein came along, Doom in particular, that was really the dawn of running around shooting everything that moves. I was never a big fan of that. I did play Doom, I played Wolfenstein. They are good games, I'm not going to say they're not. But you just run around, something moves, right, take it out, you know. That's not fun. Half-Life changed that. Half-Life was phenomenal. I mean, I remember playing that for the first time. And you start off in this little kind of monorail car heading into the complex that you work in. And I was like, what's going on? This isn't what I expected. Then you get in there and you're meeting your fellow co-workers and they're talking to you and they're just saying stuff to you, and you're not running around with a gun. You're like, whoa, what's this? And Half-Life did change that just shoot everything that moves franchise. After Half-Life, I saw a lot of games that brought story into the shooter franchise. But again, at the end of the day, you still had a gun, a crowbar, whatever, a knife. You were still running around, something moves. Well, for the most part, you were trying to take it out. Phantasmagoria, that didn't do that. Phantasmagoria told the story of Adrienne Delaney and her husband Don as they move into a new house. Now, it's a big, huge, massive mansion of a house. And soon, Adrienne comes to realize that, well, they're not the only entities in that house. And that story is very well told. She doesn't have a gun. You're not running around as Adrienne Delaney shooting ghosts. It's basically a story of you and your husband living in a house that's haunted. You've no weapon, nothing to see, nothing to shoot at. It's basically, you're in a haunted house. This is what the story is. And it tells an amazing story. So I've always wanted to develop a story like Phantasmagoria, to make a game like Phantasmagoria. And over the years, my programming skills and software development and artwork, etc., they have improved and developed and got better. I've made many games. My recent franchise being the Dungeoneer game, which was pretty epic. It was a major undertaking for me. But I still had the desire. Phantasmagoria, 25 years old, I was like, I still want to do a Phantasmagoria type game. And I had Phantasmagoria type games listed in my list of gaming ideas. I have a whole load of gaming ideas in my head and on my computer and everything of stuff I want to make. But I needed the skills to make it. I needed the tools to make it. Well, that time has come. Home Sweet Home will be my take on Phantasmagoria. Now, no, I'm not remaking Phantasmagoria. I mean, that belongs to Sierra Entertainment or whoever owns the copyrights to it today. But Home Sweet Home is heavily inspired by it. Hugely inspired by it. I want to capture the magic of Phantasmagoria in Home Sweet Home. I don't want the player running around with a gun shooting ghosts and goblins and zombies and stuff. I want to tell the story of a normal man living in a normal house, but it turns out the house is not as normal as you think. The house is haunted. Hence, welcome to Home Sweet Home. So for this first development diary, what I want to introduce you to is the house. Now, I am going to do another development diary actually looking at the house in detail, but I want to give you a quick look at it now. Put simply, the many aspects of Phantasmagoria that stand out in my head, the one that stands out most is the house. That house in Phantasmagoria is the most bizarre, most amazing construction I've ever seen. It is an astounding home, if you want to call it a home. It is off the wall, and I gotta give the developers who created that. I gotta give them credence, because that was and still is an amazing place to tell a story in. So when approaching Home Sweet Home, the first thing I needed was the setting. I didn't need the story. I didn't need the characters. Yes, I had an idea of what the story would be. Yes, I had an idea of who the characters were going to be. But I needed a setting. Where is this story going to take place? Where is this house? What is this house? So I sat down and I started designing. There was a couple of criteria I wanted. Now again, I'm not going to go into much detail here. The second vlog will look at the house in detail. But for the initial criteria, I wanted a house out in the middle of nowhere, which I know is very cliche for horror movies. Oh, a house on a hill in the middle of nowhere. Oh, that's haunted. Well, I wanted that. I wanted a house isolated. And that's what I developed. I also wanted the house to look quirky. I didn't want it to look like the norm, like any other house on the street. It had to have an element to it, so that when the player saw it, that they'd be like, wow, that's kind of odd, doesn't look right. And I came up with a mishmash of design ideas, some based on actual house designs I have seen in person, and some just based on my own imagination. And in the end, I came up with this. This is the house of Home Sweet Home. So, folks, I'm gonna close off here. And in the next development vlog, we will take a detailed look at this house, its construction, its insides. We will also, in a future vlog, look at the characters. We will see who lives in this house. We will see what supporting cast are in the story for this house. And as this game is in development right now, as this development continues, these vlogs will continue. So folks, stay tuned, and as the vlogs come out, you'll get more and more glimpses into what exactly is KnightTrek Productions Home Sweet Home. Till next time, folks. Bye.